Allah knows what He's doing when He gives us a prescription. Allah knows what He's doing when He gives us a prescription. Allah knows what He's doing when He gives us the prescription of salah. So number one in this prescription of keeping the heart alive is the oxygen of the heart, salah. The second part of this prescription is the adhkar, the remembrance of Allah, the dua that the Prophet ﷺ would say throughout his day. You know, there's a dua for everything. The Prophet ﷺ has a dua that he would say for everything in his life, right? When he would eat, finishing eating, leaving the house, coming into the house, entering the bathroom, leaving the bathroom, travel, even before intimacy. There was a dua for everything he did. He was always remembering Allah, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We have abandoned this sunnah. And abandoning this sunnah is like abandoning food and water. That's why our hearts have become sick. That's why our hearts have become weak. When you deprive someone of oxygen, food, and water, what happens? That's what's happened to our hearts. We've left the remembrance of Allah. We go through our lives, but we're not breathing and we're not eating. How can we come back to this? Well, there's a very convenient way. There's apps now that you can download on your phone, and one of them that I found to be very good, it's called My Dua. It's spelled MYDUAA, My Dua. This app is a collection of these supplications, of these du'as. For you, everything in life. Now there's a dua for everything, but which one am I supposed to be saying every single day? And the answer is this, I'll tell you this. You must be saying your morning and evening supplications at least. What are these? Well, when you open up this app, there's a section that says morning and evening remembrance. Open up that section and you're going to find there's 25 of them. So that's kind of like overwhelming. A lot of people, someone might read through all of them, take an hour and say, I'm never going to do this again. You don't have to do all of them. Remember this, there's a very important principle in life, and that is consistency, even if it's small. The Prophet ﷺ said, Allah loves the actions that are consistent, even if they're small. So find a small amount, but be consistent. And this app gives you this chance, this choice to star certain supplications. So you open up the dua, and there's a little button at the top that stars it, and now that's your collection. And I call this your treasure chest. So you're starring certain supplications, that becomes your treasure chest. Make sure you're reading it every day. So you go through, you make a collection, you star as many as you can be consistent. Give it 10 minutes. Give it 15 minutes. It will be the best 10, 15 minutes that you've invested. And it changes the rest of your day. It literally transforms the rest of your day. It makes it transforms your psychological, emotional, spiritual state, as well as your life. So every morning after Fajr, open up your app and read your treasure chest. Then after Asr or before Maghrib time, open it up again and read your treasure chest. That's your evening. And finally, before you sleep, open up your app and read from the du'as for sleep. I've just given you the 3 main times that you have to do your supplications. You have to do your adhkar: morning, evening, and sleep. So where are we at? I told you the oxygen is salah. I told you the food and water is the adhkar, and this app is going to help you with that. And then finally, number 3 is the Quran, the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Having a regular daily connection with the Quran. If you do these 3 things regularly, that is how you're going to have that healthy heart. Because I can sit here and I can talk to you about concepts. But see, if I'm up here talking to you about fitness, I could be up here talking to you about fitness. You could listen to me for 8 hours talk about fitness. Has anyone gotten fit? No. Why not? Because you have to do it. You have to do something. I can sit here and talk to you all about reclaim your heart and talk about cool quotes. You haven't done anything. You're not going to be able to actually have a healthy heart unless you do it. And it has to be something you do regularly. What happens to a person who says, you know what, I'm good. I don't need to eat today because I ate last year. Right? Last Ramadan I ate. What's going to happen? You're not going to be talking because you'll be dead. You'll starve. Or I don't need to breathe today. I did that yesterday. Right? You have to be consistent. You have to consistently eat and consistently breathe, or else you cannot survive. The heart is the same way. This is a process you have to do daily to take care of the heart and to reclaim it. You don't just reclaim it once. That's like saying, you know what, I don't have to take a shower because I did that in October. You have to keep taking a shower, right? You have to keep reclaiming your heart. You have to keep feeding and oxygenating the heart. It has to be a regular routine. Now, once you have this type of regimen, once you have this type of routine, and your heart starts to become healthy, now what happens? What happens now is you become like a person who's inside of a shelter. If it starts raining right now, is anyone in this room going to get wet? Why? Because we got a roof over our heads. We're inside of the shelter. Right? But what happens if you're outside and you have nothing? Are you going to get wet? Yes. These 3 things that I told you, this prescription is like building that shelter. So when life sends rain, you don't get wet. You don't get destroyed. Does that make sense? How many people, have you guys ever heard of the story of the 3 little pigs? One person, great. You had a childhood. So here's the story. It goes like this. There's 3 little pigs. One is really, really lazy. The second is moderately lazy, and the third is not lazy. He's hardworking. So the first lazy pig builds a house out of straw. Very weak because he's lazy. He doesn't want to put in work. The second pig, moderately lazy, builds a house out of twigs. Then the third pig puts in the work because he's not lazy. And he builds his house out of brick. He puts in the work and builds his house out of brick. So now what happens is the big bad wolf comes. And what does he do? Anyone? He huffs and he puffs and he blows that first house down. Why? Because it was weak. It was built out of straw. The second one, he comes, he huffs, and he puffs, and he blows that house down because it was also weak. It was built out of twigs. But what happens with the third? He goes to the third, and he again tries. He huffs, and he puffs. Come on, everyone. But he can't blow it down. Why? Because it was strong. So here's the thing about life. Life is going to send you a lot of big bad wolves. And they are going to huff and puff and try to blow your house down. Do you understand what I'm saying? And they're going to come in different forms. Maybe financial problems, emotional problems, relationship problems, political problems. We have a lot of big bad wolves in offices. You know? Trump. They huff and they puff. But this is what differentiates the people, isn't it? How strong is your house? Some people are living in a straw house. They're living in a straw house. Some people are living in a house made of twigs, meaning that they don't have protection. They're not strong. They're not in a strong foundation. How can you build a strong foundation? The answer is by having a healthy, strong heart. And what I have told you, the 3-part prescription that I told you, is building that brick house every single day. You're putting bricks and you're building a strong foundation, a strong shelter. And then when the big bad wolf comes in your life, as he will, remember, we can't control the weather. We can't control the rain, but we can control the shelter. And so if your house is built strong around your heart, then you don't get destroyed when the big bad wolf huffs and puffs. You don't get destroyed when it rains. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks in the Quran about the difference between the tree with the strong foundation and the one that has no foundation. He says that the tree with the strong foundation, he says, أَصْلُهَا ثَابِتٌ وَفَرْعُهَا فِي السَّمَاءِ, that its foundation is strong, and then its branches reach to the sky. Do you know this? That the taller a tree gets, the deeper and wider its roots have to be. You understand? If you want to be able to get towards the sky, you have to get deeper roots. You have to have a stronger foundation. That's the way it works. Because if you don't have a strong foundation, what happens to the other tree that doesn't have a strong foundation? The first wind comes, what does it do? It knocks it down. This is why there are people who get destroyed by the wind in their life. They get destroyed by their tests. This is the difference between a person who is destroyed by their test and a person who is strengthened by their tests. Everybody's tested. Everybody is tested. People are tested in different ways, and people respond in different ways. What differentiates the people? It's this: